This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
The private option participation rises to an all-time high just as budget hearings are getting underway. This is just one of the many complicated issues facing our guest, Arkansas Speaker of the House, Jeremy Gillam. Thanks for being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there was accuracy in that statement there, so it's all getting underway here. Let's talk about the budget hearings. They are finally getting underway. It will be after the November 8th elections where you see the governor's formal budget presentation here, but you're seeing agency stuff right now. The old adage is that about 90% of the budget is education, prisons, and Medicaid. Of that 10% that's not, can you control much savings? Can you get much savings, squeeze much savings out of that?
It's a lot more difficult than I had thought when I entered into the House 6 years ago. It is possible, but really the bulk of the effort for savings is going to have to be within the big three. We can make some modest changes in the other small percentage that we can control.
So let's talk about the big three. Let's begin with the private option. We got Medicaid numbers this past week. It looks like there's about 324,000 Arkansans enrolled in either the private option or Medicaid, pivoting into there. Jim Hendren, a state senator that has been on the healthcare task force, says this: the entire Affordable Care Act is on a trajectory that is unsustainable. Do you share his position on this?
I think the numbers are telling that story. I do think that we're very blessed in Arkansas to have Director Gillespie at the helm of DHS, and her efforts in conjunction with Governor Hutchinson's administration and the legislature in addressing these issues, I think will be a great benefit for Arkansas. I think with the 5-year plan that she's working on, both to address Arkansas Works and that population, but the Medicaid population as a whole, I think we're going to be able to see hopefully some things over the next year or two come from there that will help us maybe be able to go against this trend in a positive way.
So do you know there will be an effort to repeal the private option Arkansas Works this next time around? You guys are waiting for some things from the feds, but there's going to be a faction of the Arkansas legislature that sees these numbers and says, enough's enough, let's do this. What do you think the fate of Arkansas Works is for 2017?
Well, I think at this point in the budget process and just in getting the empirical data as well, I think we're really early in this process to really kind of start to make some definitive determinations as to the future of the program. I think there are always going to be needs for us to improve upon it if it is to continue. I think especially with the numbers, the population increases, those are things to be concerned about. I think ultimately though we're going to have to look at how it fits into the broader scope of not just the budget, but for the health of Arkansas, the hospitals. I mean, it's more complicated than just us looking at the dollars and cents right now in October. So there's a lot of other factors that we need to look into before we make some final determinations in the session.
If the feds do not give you the waivers that you need to get the numbers to where you need them to be, what do you think happens?
Well, I mean, at some point, this is just math. I mean, we have to make our budget work. And we have to live within our means. And so my hope is that we're going to have a collaborative relationship with the federal government on these waivers. So I'm going to withhold any kind of predictions or anything at this point, but they need to be cognizant of the math just like we have to be.
You're a planner, so you got a plan B maybe working somewhere on this.
We're not just going to roll the dice when we get to the session and not have any options.
All right, we got to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back and talk some pure politics with Speaker of the House, Jeremy Gillam. I'm Roby Brock. This is Talk Business and Politics. We're back after this. And we are back with Speaker of the House, Jeremy Gillam. All right, we were talking some policy beforehand. Let's talk a little bit of pure politics here. I think right now in the House, if my math is correct, there are 64 Republicans, 35 Democrats, 1 independent, who probably caucuses with the Republicans. He'll be gone, though, so Nate Bell.
Yes.
Do you want more Republicans in the House of Representatives, or is there something to be said for there being a little bit more meeting in the middle of Democrats and Republicans? Is there more moderation in that, or do you want to see majorities grow in the House?
Well, I'm looking at it from a perspective of district by district as opposed to the totality at this point. What we want is good, solid representatives coming into Little Rock that have a mindset for policy, that are interested in moving the state forward. From my perspective, where we're at right now and looking at the map, I think that will lead us to having more Republicans, because I think the candidates that are out there, whether it be in North Little Rock or Northeast Arkansas, the ones that need to be here in Little Rock are the Republican candidates that we have, because of their experiences and their policy mindsets and what they're going to bring to the table.
You want 75?
So,
can you get it that high?
well, I'm not going to get into predicting at this point, but I do see us picking up some gains, and the members that look like they're ahead in those races, I think, are going to bring a lot to the table. So we're going to be proud to welcome them into the House of Representatives.
Let's talk some national politics. You and I have talked about Donald Trump, the GOP presidential nominee. A couple of weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, you went on the record after the Access Hollywood video became live, and you said that you've not been a supporter of Mr. Trump in the past, that you no longer have hope that he would give you a reason to vote for him. Are you still going to vote for someone other than Donald Trump?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes. I think even since then, with the way that he's responded to issues and through even the final debate, I'm just not in a place that I feel comfortable in giving my vote to him.
Who do you support?
So right now, I like what I'm seeing from Mr. McMullen, and researching him and a lot of the messages that he has, and so I'm leaning that direction, but there's still some time to go before the election gets here, so I know that I won't be voting for former Secretary Clinton, and then
you will not be voting
I will not be
yeah.
voting for her, and so Mr. McMullen looks right now to be the most viable option for me right now.
We heard in the debate on Wednesday night Donald Trump say, would he accept the election results? He said, "I will keep you in suspense." He came back the next day and said, he clarified that language a little bit. If there's a clear decision, I will not contest it, but if it looks like it, I reserve my legal right here. Where do you stand on the integrity of Arkansas elections and American elections? You're around the process a lot. You know the Secretary of State, you know the county officials. Are Arkansas elections rigged?
I don't believe so. I think Secretary Martin has done a good job of making sure that the county collaborations have been to where they need to be at to be prepared for the elections, and visiting with a lot of the county clerks around the state as I've been able to travel. I think they're doing an excellent job. There's always going to be a glitch here or there on election day with technology or personnel, but you know, a human error, a moment or two of that, does not make an election be rigged. And so I think we're in good shape in Arkansas. I think the county clerks, I think the Secretary of State's office, I think everybody has us in a good position, and I feel comfortable with where we're at.
All right, Speaker of the House, Jeremy Gillam, always good to see you. Thanks for being here.
Appreciate
you. Still to come, new Arkansas polling numbers on medical marijuana, the presidential race, and the U.S. Senate race. Plus, we're going to eavesdrop on a portion of our medical marijuana roundtable discussion from earlier this week with State Surgeon General Greg Bledsoe and former U.S. Surgeon General Joycelyn Elders. We're back after this.